This happened last Saturday. I had just finished my first 2 weeks of college, and my roommate Liv was determined to drag me to my first frat party. I didn't want to go. I barely knew anyone on campus, and the idea of being surrounded by drunk strangers didn't exactly thrill me. But Liv had a way of convincing people. By 9:00 p.m., I was standing outside the Alpha Beta frat house, wearing one of her tops, trying not to look completely out of place. The party was loud and chaotic and smelled like spilled beer and sweat. Music blasted from massive speakers in the backyard. People were dancing, laughing, and playing beer pong. I stood near the edge of the crowd, clutching a warm solo cup of jungle juice, pretending to text someone when I saw this guy sitting alone from the crowd. He was dressed in a green hoodie with hands in his lap and dangling his feet in the pool. While everyone else was trying to show off or hook up, he just sat there, watching. I don't know what compelled me to walk over. Maybe it was boredom. Maybe it was curiosity.
Mind if I sit here?
He nodded. Sure. He said his name was Mason. He was an art major and said he didn't really like parties, but came for the energy. There was something about him, calm yet uncomfortable. We talked about movies, tattoos, and the absurdity of frat life. He wasn't like the other guys here, so I let my guard down. And that was a huge mistake. Midway through our conversation, he rolled up the sleeve of his hoodie. "Check this out," he said. It was a tattoo on his forearm, a creature, big round eyes, sharp teeth, tiny ears. It looked like a demonic rabbit, cartoonish but disturbing. "This is Lububu," he said, touching the ink gently. "I collect them, every version. We're kind of like soulmates." I tried laughing, thinking he was joking, but soon realized he was being dead serious.
Oh, aren't those like creepy kid toys?
He still didn't laugh. "They're misunderstood. People make fun of them just to act cool." I gave an awkward chuckle and stood up.
Anyway, I should find Liv.
His eyes followed me as I walked away, but he didn't say anything. By midnight, the party was dying down. Liv had disappeared with some guy, and I didn't feel like waiting around. My dorm was only a 10-minute walk, and I figured I'd be fine. I put in one earbud and started heading back. It was a quiet night, empty sidewalks, soft breeze, no traffic. I remember thinking how peaceful it was. In that moment, I told myself that college might turn out to be fun. But all of a sudden, I began feeling nervous. I stopped the music and heard footsteps. Someone was walking behind me. At first, I didn't think much of it. Probably just another student heading home. But the steps didn't fade. Instead, they matched mine. When I slowed, they slowed. When I stopped, they stopped as well. I turned around. Under a streetlight, maybe 20 feet back, stood Mason. He was wearing the same hoodie. His arms were stiff at his sides. His head was slightly tilted. I blinked.
Mason?
He didn't speak a word, just smiled. Something about his smile made me fear for my life. He then jerked his left shoulder twice and started chanting something. It took me a moment to hear exactly what he was saying. I listened carefully and heard him saying, "Lububu." He spoke like a toddler who just learned to talk. "Lububu." My stomach dropped.
What do you want?
I screamed while stepping back in caution. His footsteps picked up behind me. "You made Lububu sad," he called out. I didn't waste a second more. I turned and started sprinting. I could hear him chasing me. His steps weren't even footsteps anymore. They were loud, heavy thuds, like someone running unevenly or low to the ground. He was screaming that I offended him by insulting his soulmate. My dorm was a block away. I ran across the lawn, fumbling with my keycard. I slammed on the door and swiped my keycard. At the first try, the reader flashed red. Mason was inches away. With shaking hands, I swiped again, and finally, it turned green. I yanked the door open and slammed it behind me, locking it just as his footsteps reached the pavement. He was standing right outside. I could see him through the glass on the door. His breathing was heavy and ragged. His face was blank, but his eyes looked evil. He leaned close to the door and whispered, "You made Lububu sad. You shouldn't have." I backed away, heart thudding. I grabbed my phone and called campus security. They arrived 10 minutes later, but Mason had left by then. I complained to the authority who checked on him, but that freak lied to their face, saying he never even met me. Since there was no evidence, no actions were taken against him. I thought maybe that would be the end of it. The next day at around 3 a.m. in the morning, I heard something slide across the floor. I sat up. There was an envelope on the ground. Someone had pushed it under my door. There was a photo of me in it, taken earlier that night, sitting by the pool next to Mason. In the bottom corner, written in red ink, were the words, "Lububu remembers." My hands started shaking. I threw the picture away and double-checked the lock again. I barely slept. When the sun came up, I packed a bag and went straight to Liv's dorm to stay there for a few days. But this morning, just as I was leaving, I went back to my room to grab my laptop, and I almost screamed when I entered my room. There was a pink Lububu toy sitting on my pillow. Its wide eyes stared directly at me, its jagged teeth stretched in a grin that felt too real. I threw it in the dumpster and changed my dorm. I don't know what Mason wants. I don't know if he's going to make my life miserable now. But I do know one thing. I should have never laughed at Lububu.